And we're live.
Yeah. There we go. All right. Welcome back, everybody, to episode 8 of Over and Back podcast. And we're just going to kick it off as we always do with our our top 10 power rankings in the NBA.
Yep, I'm ready to give you. Let me pull it up. All right, our top 10 for this week. We're looking similar to last week with the first four. We got the Celtics remaining at 1, the Bucks remain at 2, the Suns remain at 3, the Cavs remain at 4. We have movement starting at the 5. The Pelicans jump up to 5. The Grizzlies jump up to 6. The Nuggets at 7. The Nets at 8. The 76ers at 9. And the Clippers join the top 10 at 10.
Indeed. Uh, do any teams surprise you so far with where they were last week compared to where they are now? Positive
Team
or negative?
negative wise, we got the Blazers, who was, I think they were 5 or 6 last week, who dropped all the way out of the top 10. They was, like you told me earlier, they were 2-10. I mean, they're 2-8 out of their last 10 games. So the Blazers been having a lot of struggles recently. But a lot of that's due to Damian Lillard still not playing, things like that. But and they got a lot of buildings. They were looking good. Anthony Simons was having some good games. Uh, Yusuf Nurkic was having some good games, but I don't know. What are you thinking about the Blazers falling out of the top 10?
The Blazers, yeah, I mean, my issue with them is that they can't rely on Damian Lillard too much. I thought they were going to be not the same without him, but at least a little bit better, and they've completely disappointed everyone involved. So yes, they're not in the top 10 this week. I do believe they'll have a few more appearances this season once Damian Lillard does come back because of the way they were playing when he was there. But that won't translate too much to the postseason because you just can't ride your best player's coattails that hard. If he's not there, you still got to at least win a few games. And like you just mentioned, they've only won 2 games out of the last 10. That's not strong enough to keep them in the power rankings.
No, especially when your team was already not top of the barrel. It's not like they were the Celtics or the Bucks or anything to where a couple of losses really hurt their record, puts them more in the 500 range at the lower part of their conference. So, and then another team that moved up though, the Pelicans. The Pelicans moved
Yep,
up. Zion Williamson's back officially. He's been having some great games, playing some great basketball. Zion is
offense
definitely
and defense.
offense and defense. He's definitely one of the best young players in the league right now. So
Absolutely.
I love seeing Zion go out there and hoop.
I just wanted to point out the fact that in his last 4 games, he's averaging 27, 9.8, so a little bit under 10 rebounds, and 6 assists, and 2 steals and 2 blocks. And he's always efficient from the field. He's shooting 64% from the field. If if Zion, first of all, Zion wasn't even playing for majority of the season already. If he can fit into the way that the Pelicans have been playing, they're going to keep surprising us. They're going to keep playing good. They're going to keep beating good teams, and they're just going to keep the momentum rolling. I love to see it. I do.
Yeah, and the thing for me with Zion is everybody was questioning of Zion's coming back from the injury and his athletic ability. If he was going to be able to sustain the way that he plays basketball and a lot of his movement up and down the floor. But I think Zion is going to be okay. I think his build is actually helps him a little bit because he's more sturdy, more strong. He can get up, he can jump and be okay when he lands. But longevity wise, I don't know about his longevity. But Zion right now is looking like he's going to be good in the league for a couple years. Pelicans is making a lot of noise. They got a good coaching staff up there in New Orleans and a lot of
Yeah, for
other
people,
young pieces who are playing good basketball too. Jose Alvarado put up 38, made like five threes.
and that's one of my favorite players in the NBA to watch, and I love to see him do good.
He gets it done on. That's the thing. The thing I like about the Pelicans. They got a lot of guys that get it done on both ends of the basketball court. When you talk about Jose Alvarado, we know what he blew up for was the out of bounds steals when he
Yeah,
has out of bounds, and then you got a guy like Herb Jones who uses length and athleticism really well on the
it's another
defensive
guy I like
end.
to watch.
Yeah, so they got a
Yep.
lot of guys. Zion plays defense. So they got a lot of guys that play defense. The Pelicans definitely could make some noise. I don't know how far of a play or how deep of a playoff run they could make, but they definitely would be a playoff team and maybe even a Western Conference Finals level team. So
And really, how far they go, in my opinion, in the playoffs depends on how much they play together and stay healthy in the regular season. We've seen it from the Clippers. If your team can't stay healthy and play together during the regular season, you're not going to be able to mesh well in the playoffs. It's really a too late type of thing. Like there is a too late to get your efforts together. And
hmm
so, if everybody can stay healthy for the Pelicans and they play together and learn how to play with each other and keep playing off of their strengths and everybody play their role, there's a high ceiling for this team, way
okay.
higher than we expected going into the season.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of expected the Pelicans to be okay. Like I was expecting the Pelicans to be a decent team, but they definitely have outperformed what I was expecting so far. Like I didn't expect the Pelicans to come out this early and be this good. So I think that they're number 2 in the West right now, 15-8 on a
Yeah.
win streak. So Pelicans look like
Going
a
into
decent young team.
Yeah, another young team going into the eighth week of the season. They've stayed steady in our top four of the power rankings. Is the Cleveland Cavaliers. Uh, they shut down the blazing hot Lakers last night. Even when they didn't have AD, they still looked really, really good, and that was a difficult team to beat at the time. Donovan Mitchell dropped 43. Absolutely on a
Donovan
tear.
Mitchell is definitely the reason, not the sole reason, because the Cavs they do have a good roster, a lot of pieces. They have every piece that you could really need. But to me, Donovan Mitchell is a lot of the reason for the Cavs' early success. He's had a lot of big games, like super big games.
Yep,
So
and um, Jarrett Allen just came back from a 5 game hiatus. And he came back and played very good against the Lakers. I believe he had 22 or 24. I think it was 22. If he can contribute on the offensive end like that as well, that's another team that didn't look good on paper at the start of the year, but they're going to have a very high ceiling, especially in the East. They've been surprising a lot of people, and they continue to surprise. It's not like the Jazz have. The Jazz have already fallen off. The Cavaliers, even when they do suffer a loss, they bounce back immediately.
yeah, and speaking of them though, they beat the Lakers like you said, but I just want to give some credit to the Lakers because the Lakers have turned it around a little bit. AD dropped 55, and he's been having his good games. Now he did slow down against the Cavs, like you said, but Russell Westbrook coming off the bench has looked like a completely different player. Like it was looking like Russ was going to be out of the league in a year or two if he kept up the way he was playing, but he really turned it around. So I think a lot of the hate that Russell Westbrook was getting, a lot of people gonna have to bite that, eat those words because he just had to accept his role. I think for at first Russ didn't really want to accept the role that he's not that guy no more. Even coming and playing with LeBron, like a lot of people come and play with LeBron and they immediately humble themselves because it's like it's LeBron. But I always thought Russ wasn't gonna be that type of guy because he didn't do it with KD. He didn't do it with anybody. He's never really humbled down and tried to take a second role, but he's really took his steps down. So if they can do
I
that,
want
they'll be decent. I don't see him being
to
a
point out
playoff
the
level team though.
I want to point out the fact that the Lakers, just I believe it was 2 weeks ago on episode 6. I went to go look it back. I'm still trying to find this clip, but I mentioned what it's going to take for the Lakers to turn their season around, and exactly what I said happened, and they have looked very positive in the last few games. I said the few things that they need to do is AD needs to stop shooting threes. He needs to play like a big man. He did that. Russ needs to come off the bench. He needs to play his role. He's done that. And LeBron just needs to keep playing like LeBron. And if he can continue to play like LeBron and take a backseat role to AD, not even you don't even need to take a backseat role. Just take a passenger seat role to AD. That team has the ceiling that we thought they would have had instead of being the team that we've been seeing all season. And AD has been doing that for the past few weeks. And AD, he didn't play last night. He has the flu right now, and LeBron's not playing tonight. So I don't think they'll win the next few games. But when they do come back, if they keep this momentum going the entire season, I'm interested to see where this Lakers team can go.
How far do you see them going if they play at this level the whole year?
It's a big if. That's the issue. On paper, this team has talent, but really what it is you got to get this team to play together and everybody to accept their role, and that's really the biggest if. So if they accept their role, Russ comes off the bench and keeps dominating a whole bunch of bench players in the league. He keeps playing consistently, but he's been dropping 12-point games with 10 assists, 8 rebounds recently. That's what he needs to be doing, and he can really why I want Russell Westbrook to come off the bench is because when he comes off the bench and all of the starters are off the floor, it becomes his game. Not when you don't need to be taking over the game when you're a starter. That's not your position. That's not where you're at no more. You're not still on the Thunder. So he can do it when the bench player's on the floor, which is fine because everybody else on the bench already knows how to play the role. He's fine with doing that. So to answer your question, I can see them beating a few Western Conference teams in the first round. That would be a massive thing, but I don't see them getting anywhere close to the conference finals. If anything, we would lose in the second round. And that's our ceiling, in my opinion.
Yeah, that would be about my projection too. The only thing I got with them is that they got the sneaky experience. So they got a lot of guys who got a lot of playoff experience, and that plays a bigger role than a lot of people think. Like when you get into playoff basketball, it's a whole different thing from regular season basketball. So they got a lot of guys on that floor who's used to that. They got LeBron, who is the best player
I feel like
of our era. So
Yeah, I feel like their experience will give them an edge over the Pelicans, even how good they've been playing recently, and even the Nuggets. I feel like they could beat the Nuggets in a 7-game series, but that's two of the top teams that really I
mm,
could see them beating. I don't see
I
them
can see them
beating.
beating the Pelicans, and not the Nuggets. They just don't got enough to go 7 games with the Nuggets.
Yeah,
It'll
I
good.
definitely
It'll be
don't
a
see
good
them beating the
series though.
Suns. Definitely not the Suns. Definitely not the Warriors. If the Kings keep playing, I see them beating the Kings.
Yeah.
That's a positive. But I mean, what the Kings' record is 13-9.
No,
They look good,
The
right?
Kings have been doing a lot better. A lot
Yeah.
better. They're
But
really, it's a coaching, like you can see that the coaching has made a lot of a difference over there. De'Aaron Fox is playing more of a leader point guard role, distributing. They're running the offense. I feel like a lot of the times when the Kings had their down years, they just didn't really care that much to try to even put the effort forth to be a winning team.
yeah, where do you see the Kings ceiling
This
postseason
year,
wise? Yeah. And do you think that this momentum will carry on the entire season? Do you think they'll be an upper echelon team the entire season, or do you think
no,
they'll
no,
fizzle
no. It'll fizzle out. I see
out?
them being more like a playing team, really. Like I think that they
Mhm.
be playing if they're not playing their last seed. So I don't really see them in leaving the first round either. They're not that yet. They got a lot of work they need to do. It would be everybody on the team, everybody on the Kings team first time in the playoffs. So
Absolutely. The Nets have been picking it up.
Kevin Durant, I mean, we talked about it last
Yeah.
week. Kevin Durant
Oh
is
my
shooting
goodness.
his best numbers of his career, which feels crazy to say because it should be the end of his career. But he's shooting the best field goal percentage and 3-point percentage of his life. So when you have
Yeah.
already one of the best players in the league somehow get better, team success. But it's funny because all of this happened right after Kevin Durant made the comment about how is he supposed to win with these guys, and then he started winning with those guys. So Ben Simmons picked up his play a little bit too. I know we had the video go viral of Ben Simmons talking about how he made no improvement, but he's playing better. I still don't see him making improvement scoring wise. Like I don't see
Yeah.
Ben Simmons showing any offensive skill wise, but I mean he distributes the ball and plays defense. So if he's playing his role and it's helping him win, go Ben Simmons. You know.
Ben Simmons will forever be an X factor on any team because at any time, I feel like whenever he finally realizes that he is super talented at basketball, then he'll start playing good again. But he just hasn't realized that he has no improvement since his rookie season. His rookie season was amazing for a rookie, but he has not improved a lick. And matter of fact, just the past 2 seasons, he's gone down in the wrong direction. He's taken steps backwards. So once he figures out that he can at least get back to his rookie numbers, the Nets are going to be a very scary team. They're
Yeah,
already a
cause
scary team, mainly because KD is just a scary human being to be on the basketball court.
right. Yeah,
But yeah,
to talk about, because on that video I read a lot of the comments on that video. A lot of people say that we just was looking at we're looking at it one dimensional wise, not appreciating the other things that Ben Simmons does well, which nobody did. First of all, in the video, nobody ever took away from anything that Ben Simmons does do great with the basketball, because Ben Simmons is a great defender. He's a good guy to run the offense through. But when you look at Ben Simmons that plays now, and Ben Simmons his first 2 years in the league when he was averaging 16 and a half points, that's all we're asking is for Ben Simmons. Do all of those things you do and still put up numbers, though. There's times when Ben Simmons literally doesn't look at the basket to score. Like, those are things that we're saying, how do you lose that? Because when you even go back to Montverde or LSU, or like I said, the first 2 years of Ben Simmons in the league, Ben Simmons was a dog. At Montverde in high school, Ben Simmons was getting the ball every play, looking to get a bucket on whoever was in front of him every play. And it was the same way at LSU, and it was the same way when he first got into the league. So I'm saying, what happened to Ben Simmons, if it was confidence wise, or if it's skill wise, whatever happened, Ben Simmons can get over that hump. Like, nobody's making that criticism because we don't think Ben Simmons can get over that hump. We're saying we've seen Ben Simmons be a decent to good offensive player, and Ben Simmons needs to get back to that level of play. Ben Simmons was the rookie of the year. If you want to say that Donovan deserved to win it, or however it went down, whatever you think, in the books, in the record books, Ben Simmons won rookie of the year. In his rookie year season, he had great numbers. We just want Ben Simmons to get back to the level of play. Nobody's taking away from what Ben Simmons can do without scoring the basketball. You got to play all sides of the basketball.
like you said, he came in averaging 15, 16 points. He is now averaging half of that. I have always been one of the biggest Ben Simmons advocates, and I always want to see him do good, but he's just not an offensive factor anymore like he used to be when he was on the 76ers. Even though he wasn't a threat from outside, he was still an offensive scoring factor when
Right.
he was averaging 16 in his first season and 16 and a half the next. It was just like you still had to you had him in the scouting report on offense at least. Now, like I said, Ben Simmons is a great rebounder. He can play 1 through 4. You cannot take that away from him. He has an excellent handle for somebody 6'8", 6'9", 6'10", wherever you want to put his height at. Yeah, no. So he does amazing things that a basketball player should do. He does the little things good, and that's why he's still in the league.
Right.
That's really what it is. He does the little things good. But at the end of the day, as a basketball player at the NBA level, as a starting point guard in the league, or whatever role you want to say he has, you have to be able to put the ball in the basket. And that's just not what he's been doing lately.
No, and like you said, he's 6'10" with guard skills. So you can't tell me that a guy that's 6'10" with guard skills can't go to the paint, because nobody even asked him to shoot a jump shot. There's still got Giannis' jump shot improved, it's gotten better, but Giannis is still not a knockdown deadly shooter. We're saying, can the guy get a bucket? That's all that was said. But
Absolutely.
off of that, do you have your first topic you want to get into? I can jump into one that stuff I
Yeah,
have.
we can go back to the NBA. As always, we jump back and forth. But I wanted to start with a little bit of college basketball here recently. The preseason #1 team, your pick to win the national championship, matter of fact, has lost 4 games in a row.
Yeah.
They first started off with a loss. I would say there's a very mature team. That's a manageable loss. Alabama, they're very talented. They lost to Alabama. Then Indiana. Indiana has the talent and the maturity. But then they lost to Virginia Tech. And this is all force that strung back to back to back.
Hmm.
What what is what is your take on what's going wrong with them, and how long do you see this lasting? Not exactly the losing streak, but how long do you see them not playing up to par basketball? They're now unranked.
I mean, like you said, 3 of those losses are still not acceptable, cause from the talent that they have coming off of the year that they had, not acceptable at all. But I can understand them. Virginia Tech, I've watched a couple of Virginia Tech games this year. They're not the team that UNC should be losing to at all. But when you look at last year, right? Remember this time last year with UNC, they were going through similar problems. Now, I can't bank on them and say that they're a tournament team, a team that's going to turn it around in a tournament, because one thing that they do is they don't play smart basketball. And to me, a lot of this starts with Caleb. I love Caleb. One of my favorite players. I love the way he scores the ball, but he's not a smart basketball player. I mean, he probably can be a smart basketball player, but the way that he plays and the way he's playing right now, and he even had his moments in the tournament. He made a lot of not smart plays. I think it was the Final Four game. He had like 3 plays with back to back. He put up really bad shots, and that's really more of what it is. They don't get good looks all the time. Like a lot of times they play a lot through their guards, which is okay because I mean they got Armando down there who I think he should get more touches, more play through him. But they play through their guards a lot, and when you have guys like Caleb who don't make the best decisions, it'll hurt you at times, and it's showed recently. It's been hurting them, but they still got their offensive weapons. We know they have guys that can turn it on when they need to. They're a good defensive team, so I wouldn't count them out yet. And I mean, I have a little bit of bias. I like UNC a lot, but I wouldn't count them out yet. I think that they can still turn it around and be a tournament level team, a team that competes in the tournament this year.
Says Kentucky's winning it all this year. That comment is absolutely insane. The way they've
Yeah,
been playing there.
David is trolling. He's got to be trolling.
But UNC, uh, you brought up their season last year. Last year, their regular season, they didn't have the expectations they had this year, which is why it was like almost expected for them to have a little bit of trouble. They didn't have a bench last year, and that I'll continue to say that's their biggest issue this year. They just do not have a bench at all. Like nobody comes off the bench and does anything productive. So, which is why they wish they had GD Jackson right now because
Yeah, he's hooping too.
and yes, he is, and he's the only bright side for South Carolina. But uh, in North Carolina, Armando Bacot gets into foul trouble religiously. Caleb Love, he's a out of this world talent, but his biggest question as a D1 guard at UNC, your biggest question shouldn't be your shot selection. Like
No,
his shot selection is out of this world crazy. Like I don't know, like half the shots he puts up are just like are you playing at a park? Like, you do realize you're playing not pick up basketball right now. You're on a D1 court playing against Indiana away. Why are you taking step back threes while you're down 10? Like, it's just a lot of questionable shots that he puts up. Even RJ Davis at times has questionable shot selection, and he's one of the more mature players on the team. But really, their biggest bright spot right now is Pete Nance, transfer from Northwestern. I like the way that he plays and he's the only one that gives consistent production on that team, and that's really the um the 3 big guys from last year were RJ Davis, Caleb Love, and Armando Bacot, and Armando a little bit with the rebounding, but they don't really have offensive consistency. They are talented, but they don't have the offensive consistency. So just like last season, their postseason depends on how hot they get, really. Because Caleb Love, I don't see him changing his shot selection. I feel like he's gonna keep shooting whatever he feels like shooting, but he is ultra talented. So any game he can go off the board because those shots that he does take, they sometimes go. And when they sometimes go in, they're gonna keep going because he's Caleb Love.
yeah, and I just seen that RJ Davis and Caleb Love they both are shooting 26% from the 3 point line, which is terrible. First of all, just as a basketball player, you should want to aim for your 3 point percentage to be a little bit higher than that. But when you're a guard, like you're your team's point guard, and majority of your shots you're shooting are these 3 pointers, and you're shooting 26% from the three, you should think about changing some things. So I think a little bit of it we got to look internally at the UNC coaching staff, and they got to be a little bit more strict on these guys. Like, come on, we gotta try to get better looks. We gotta try to put some better shots up. But like I said earlier, they're the type of team that when they get on the run and they get going though, it could be dangerous. So I wouldn't count them out for playoff wise just yet though.
I can't count that starting 5 out of anything right now, like at all. That starting 5 is still probably the best talent-wise starting five in the NCAA right now, but they just got to string it together. They got to realize how to play together, and until they figure that out, it's going to look ugly throughout conference play.
Yeah.
And and really, it depends how late they get it together. Did you have another topic you wanted to bring up?
Yeah, because I was actually, one of mine was on college basketball. So I was going to ask you, who is your favorite freshman so far? We've had some freshmen that's been putting up some pretty good games recently. They've been hooping. So I wanted to see, who is your favorite freshman of the year so far? Because I got a couple of guys that, when I think of freshmen, I think of these guys, and I feel like they'll be solid picks in the draft this year.
I want to say Kyle Filipowski, but I've already said a lot on him on previous episodes. So I'm gonna think on that. Let me give me yours first.
Okay, like I said, I got a couple of guys because I like a couple of guys that's came out this year. But one that I've recently been watching a little bit is Keontae George. He had 22 points the other night. He's averaging 15, almost 16 points this year, shooting pretty good numbers. 39% from the field, is he needs to get that up, but 32% from three. So he shoots the ball pretty well. But the thing I like about Keontae George is he's one of those guys that his scoring possibilities are limitless. Like, he really scores at all three levels. And I think that at Baylor, and I think going forward in his career, that he'll have, like, he's one of those guys that can just heat up and put up 40. Like, he hasn't done it yet, but I can see it the way he scores. Like, when he scores, he starts getting super confident and he starts taking more shots, but he starts taking even better looks for him. Like, he gets to his spot, he gets to his spots and his shots really well. Like, he knows the type of player he is. So I like to see that. And then, of course, I talk about them a lot, but I love the Arkansas boys, Nick Smith and Anthony Black. Those are definitely two of my favorites. So, but right now, I probably would have to go with Keontae George being my favorite. I just like the way he scores the ball, and he does a lot of other things too. Though he rebounds, he gets assists. He averaging 4.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists. So he plays really well on all aspects of the basketball.
Yeah. 1 second. I was trying to look up if there are any stats that I can find on freshmen, but there's not that I can any that I can find. But yeah, no, I wanted to point out the fact that a few of the freshmen have got not cold feet, but some of them started to struggle early coming in. Like Derek Whitehead, he's coming off of an injury. Derek Lively, he's coming off of an injury. But I wanted to point out the fact that Nick Smith came off an injury, came in as a freshman, and he's been playing. I don't know how many games he's played so far,
Three, he
but he
played
has.
three.
He's played three so far, and he's been playing. He's been looking like a Nick Smith that we've been expecting to see.
Hmm.
Like that. He instantly adjusted to his role, and as a freshman, I don't know what Musselman has going on over there, but for him to have these freshmen game ready as soon as they get into the game, he's doing something right, and I love to see it.
Yeah, like, I like Nick Smith a lot, but from what I've seen so far, and we've had a bigger sample size because Anthony Black has played 9 games, but I came into the year thinking that Nick Smith was going to be the guy, but it's looking like Anthony Black could be a little bit better than him. Now, of course, they got Ricky Council, he is their guy, because especially with Nick Smith being down. But Anthony Black, he's averaging almost 14 points on dang near 50, 40, 90. His free throw percentage is the only thing that holds him down. He's shooting 75% from the free throw. But other than that, he would be making 50, 40, 90. And he also averages like 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals almost. So Anthony Black gets it done on both ends of the floor. So, you always like to see that. Um, Trying to think.
I know my answer will be now to your question. My favorite so far, even though he gave my Duke Blue Devils a loss, Grady Dick. Grady Dick has been playing out of his mind. He's going out there. He's looking elite. Like he's going out there and showing everybody that he is him, and he's going out there on the offensive end and putting the ball in the rim. Like it's absolutely insane what he's been doing. I mean, G.G. Jackson, he's been consistent with South Carolina, but that's just because he's on a South Carolina team that has a lot of questions in every category. Jerish Walker as well. But Houston, when you have a lot of other players on your team that can take the pressure off of you and you can grow as talent, I just love to see that. I do.
Yeah, going back to Grady though. Grady is a shooter. Like the way that kid shoots the ball is amazing. He's got a lot. He's got a lot of potential for the NBA because he has a size too. I think he's 6'9". 6'9".
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so he's 6'9", can shoot the ball. I gotta see him put it on the floor a little bit more because I would say he doesn't do that a lot. He doesn't put the ball on the floor a lot. But other than that, nah, he's amazing. And the thing with him is he's at a really good program. So his program's playing good basketball, makes him look even better. And that's what I think a lot of like you said, a lot of freshmen haven't been living up to some of the expectations.
Mhm.
A lot of that to me comes from the places they went. Because you look at a guy like Brandon Miller, he's at
Yeah.
Alabama. He got really
Mhm.
good pieces around him, and he's shining. So he looks
Yeah.
better than not better than he is. Because I'm not taking anything away from him. He's a really good prospect. But when you're playing on a team that plays at a high level, they're getting things done and they're winning. It makes it easier for these guys to mesh and work in. When a lot of these guys are put in situations where your first year in college and your team isn't doing too well. Your coach is depending on you a lot because you were they're supposed to be the guy coming in. So we see that a lot. But another freshman I think who's handled that pretty well is Sky Clark. Came
Yeah.
into a
Yeah.
starting role and he's played pretty good. So
And his consistency from outside is really what shocks me. Just for a freshman to come in and just absolutely be adjust their role and be a shooter on his team is very. And they just won yesterday against Texas. That was a
Yep,
good.
yep.
So that like and Terrence Walker Shannon, even though I mean I said Terrence Walker, Terrence Shannon Jr. He's been he's been pretty good over the season. He had a cold first half yesterday, but he came back into it, snapped it, and then beat the second best team in the nation. So that Illinois team, they look really good right now too. But I wanted to point out the fact that Villanova they might be the most disappointing team so far, mainly because Cam Whitmore hasn't played yet. I want to see how
Hmm.
when he comes in. I want to see how what impact he has on their season because they don't look good at all right now. And that's not the Villanova team that we've been used to. No, they don't have Jay Wright anymore, but it's still Villanova basketball, and they've been out of this world atrocious. So I want to see how Cam Whitmore plays when he comes in. I've been very high on him, and I think he'll be a top 5 draft pick this year.
I don't know about
If
top
he,
five.
we'll see when he comes back,
I love
but
Cam Whitmore though.
definitely lottery lock.
Lottery. I can maybe see that. It's a loaded draft class. I say that.
Yeah, it is a very low draft class. So nobody's a lottery lock. Even though I would have came into the season saying Derek Lively was a lottery lock, and his draft stock has flipped out of like crazy. But I wanted to say that Derek Lively, he's in my opinion, he's looking like a 2-year prospect right now because
Um,
on the offensive end, he hasn't done anything. I understand he's coming off of an injury. He's had a few games under his belt now, but he's on defense. He's looking very good. Like you can't take that away from him. But on offense, he's just like uh, the only skill he has so far is rolling to the basket and catching the ball. He doesn't have a post move that he can do. He hasn't been shooting. There's literally nothing he's been doing except pick and rolls and catch the ball and under.
I think that he'll still go after this year though, just due to size, defense, and his ability, like the to look forward. I think that it it's still early, but it might be in his best interest for him to stay another year. But we got to see
That's what
how
I'm.
we got to
Yeah,
see
that's
how he
yeah,
holds up injury wise. He
yeah.
has one of those frames, one of those body types to where he could potentially be an injury prone type of guy. We've seen it with guys like his body type reminds me a lot of Willie Cauley Stein. We've seen Willie Cauley Stein go to the league and get hurt a couple times. So
Another thing you got to take into consideration when you're of a frame that's not really the most stable. You might as well go ahead and get to the bag immediately, even though NIL is a thing nowadays. That's what will make me consider him coming back is because he can get NIL money and improve his draft stock for next season. But his draft stock so far this season has plummeted. He was the top 10 prospect, and now everybody has him around the 25 range. So
Mm.
I just want to see where that'll go for the rest of the season. I think he'll pick it up, especially when Derek Whitehead comes, uh, earns his starting position. I do like the way that John Tyler's been coaching lately, but once Derek Whitehead earns his starting position and Derek Lively he comes back healthy, that's gonna be interesting as well.
So, speaking of draft and things of the draft, I got a
Hmm.
question because I seen this a couple days ago. I was looking at some draft boards, and I always mix up the Thompson twins. I think it's a men though. I think it was a draft board that had a men going top 5. And I just want to know from your perspective, how much of a factor does them playing at OTE take away from them and their like stock with the guys in the class? Because a lot of people, I can see them saying like that the fact that they're still playing high schoolers or they're playing a lesser level of competition, that it would be a reason to not take them in the draft. But if you ask me, they're both lottery picks.
This is why the NBA scouts get paid the big bucks because this is up to them to decipher what competition level they're playing at, and do you really want to pass up on them? And there were a few scouts that were considering passing up on Luka because he was playing in an overseas league that they didn't know the competition level over there. So that's been a question ever since started getting overseas prospects, and now there's so many routes to the NBA that these prospects can take. So that's really up to the scouts different how they see the competition be fit. But I do like the competition level in OTE. I think that both of them should be top 10 prospects. In my opinion, if I wouldn't have passed up on a minute at all if I had the top 5 pick. He's
Yeah.
just going crazy good. And even though he is not playing D1 college athletes, most of these guys can be in D1 athletes, hands down. So I don't think that should be too much of a knock on them, especially with the way that we see Victor Wembanyama coming over and doing the same thing that he was doing overseas. So uh, I'm starting to feel like everybody else is catching up to college, like to the NCAA. So it's not as big of a question mark as it used to be.
Yeah. And then you look at a guy like Shaden Sharp. He literally just did that. He didn't play a single game at Kentucky. He took his time off to prepare for the draft. And a lot of people passed up on him. We see what he is now. So I just think it's more of a, do you want to pass up on the Thompson twins? We see two guys 6'6", with crazy athleticism, can score the ball, handle the ball, can run the one. Really, they run the one sometimes at OTE. So no matter who they're playing, no matter if they were playing in college, overseas, or if they're at OTE like they are right now, the Thompson twins are lottery picks. There'll be guys at wherever program they go, and the NBA team will be lucky to have them. Like, I think that they really have potential to be guys in the NBA.
I feel like you can't go wrong here, but I'm asking your opinion on this. If the draft was tomorrow and you're an NBA scout, who are you picking? Ahmed Thompson or Nick Smith Jr.?
That's a
You
really
got the
hard
third
one.
pick in the draft. Stu Henderson and Wembanyama are both off the board already.
Thompson or Nick Smith? How hold on? How tall is Nick Smith?
Uh, I guess I'm just gonna look it up real quick.
Hold on, I'm on it. 6'5". I might go Nick Smith. I'm gonna go with Nick Smith. They about similar size. They do similar things to me, but I like the way Nick Smith scores a basketball. I like. Whoa. Yeah, I'm gonna go Nick Smith. I'm gonna go Nick Smith.
I'm taking Nick Smith too. I like it. His defense sets him apart from me, the way that he can guard on the ball guards. So I feel like he would attribute
Six
to an
five.
NBA experience, have games where he locks down somebody's best guard.
I didn't know he was 6'5". I was thinking he's like 6'3".
Damn,
Jeez.
Arkansas, so he's tough.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to guard that at 6'5". He plays that new style of basketball like SGA. They guys that just get real crafty when they get to going at you. So Nick Smith doing that at 6'5" is scary. But Thompson do a lot of similar things. Like you said, either way, I don't think you can really go wrong picking one of the two.
You got another topic you want to bring up?
If you got anything else with college basketball, or we can jump back into the NBA.
One second, let me look at something. Okay. Oh, Virginia. They're a highly defensive team. They don't really blow out anybody unless somebody just has such a bad night. What do you think the ceiling is for the Virginia Cavaliers?
Mm, I don't see them right now, at least. Like it's a lot of basketball left to play. I don't see them being top of the barrel level team. I think when you look at the teams that's all the way at the top, like let's look at a we were just talking about Alabama for example. I
Mhm.
think the level of play difference between Alabama and Virginia is a lot. So probably I mean I say Sweet 16 at the least. I think that they'll make it to the Sweet 16, and it'll be good games from anything beyond there if they do make it. But I definitely could see them being a. I mean, and then we got to think though, March Madness is crazy, so it's
Yeah.
always just a matter of who wins one game, who has one play that so they could do it, but I don't see them being one of those Final Four level teams. Like when I think of the teams that right now who I picture being in the Final Four, I don't see Virginia at all, or even Elite Eight really.
Virginia doesn't have kind of yesterday, today. They have a 10, 11 game high, 10, 11 day hiatus of not playing basketball, and then they hop right back into playing Houston December 17th.
Mm.
This Virginia team, they they're a very strange team to me because they take care of business with the teams that they're supposed to struggle with. Like they beat that Baylor team by a reasonable amount. They beat Illinois by 9 points. But then they have games where they only beat Michigan by 2 points. They beat a subpar Florida State team by 5 points. And then last night they beat James Madison by 5. So this is the
That's a
same.
coaching thing too. I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like the same way that Virginia won the national championship and then lost in the first round. No. It was the year before they won the national championship. They lost to number 16, the first ever one seed to lose to a 16 seed. I can see this Virginia team struggling with a lot of the weaker teams in the NCAA tournament just because of the way they've been playing already early on in the season. These like they beat some of the teams that they're supposed to struggle with, like Baylor, for example, and then out of nowhere they only beat James Madison by 5, and they were struggling the whole game last night. I was watching most of it, and then they have games against Michigan, who is Michigan is a weird team as well, but they only beat Michigan by 5 as well. So I don't know. I don't have much faith in this Virginia team. Virginia's always the team that I feel like they'll win the ACC in the regular season, but then they won't have much postseason success.
And
Their
if
regular season team to me.
to me, if you're a team that can't put teams away, or you struggle to put your foot down on a team, come tournament time, that is the worst thing that you can be. Because in those moments where the smaller team, the underdog, is still fighting, still keeping alive,
Yep.
it's almost like the momentum shift is just
Yeah.
in their favor so much. So if you're a team that doesn't really put guys away, it's gonna be hard for them. And that Virginia team, like you said, they're not really putting away the guys that they should be putting away. That's why I do respect this Kentucky team. We talked a lot of trash about the Kentucky team this year, though. Kentucky puts away who they're supposed to put away. We got to see them against the tough teams, but the teams that Kentucky was supposed to put away, they put away.
I was about to look at their schedule. Um, yeah, go ahead with your next topic.
Okay, so I was gonna jump back to the NBA, or really, this isn't even NBA. This is more Olympics because I seen it on Players Choice. They was doing a talk on Players Choice about the Dream Team versus the Redeem Team. And I just feel like that was a really good question. I wanted to get your opinion on who do you think would win that game matchup wise, how you think it looks, who was the better team.
In the 7 game series, I don't think it's going to 7. The Dean team is blowing them out. But here, okay, that's not true. I take that back. The Redeem team and the Dream team are going to 7, in my opinion. But the team that is left out, because the Redeem team was in 2018. The
Hmm.
team that's left out, in my opinion, the best Olympics team of all time is that 2012 team. The 2012 team, when they have Kobe right before his injury, LeBron entering LeBron's prime, maybe already in his prime, if you want to say. They had Carmelo when Carmelo was with the Knicks. Anthony Davis was their rookie that year. Like they had everybody that you could ask for in the NBA that year. Like that 2012 era of basketball when you just had superstars like D Wade still in his. You could say D Wade was maybe not in his prime, definitely not in his prime, but D Wade was still that guy. Like that 2012 team is beating both teams, the Redeem team and the Dream team, in my opinion, in a maximum of 6 games.
Oh, that's tough. See, this is where I
But
stand
I
on it.
also believe the Redeem team will beat the Dream team.
I think the Dream Team is beating the Redeem Team. Now, the 2012, I think that's better than the Redeem Team game, but just to go to the Redeem Team first, or just to go to the Dream Team first, matter of fact, the Dream Team is maybe the best assimilation of basketball players of all time. And I say this because when you look at them versus the Redeem Team, right? To me, in my eyes, the guard play is the same. We got the same level of guards on both ends. When we get to the wing play is the same. Even though they got Kobe and LeBron, which was a tough two to beat, but Jordan was a bad man too. They had Bird. I mean, they had Bird and they had Magic, and both of their peaks. So, but to me, that what takes the cake for the Dream Team is their big play, and this will really show against the Redeem Team because I don't think that there's nothing that Chris Bosh or who else was on there. Was that Carlos Boozer?
Dream team.
Yeah.
I believe Chris Bosh was on that team when Chris Bosh was a rapper. Uh, what's his name? Oh my God, his name is slipping my. I'm about to look up the roster.
I was gonna say I won't do the same. But anyways, what I'm saying is the Dream Team's big play is just a lot better, like and a lot tougher. You got the Admiral. I don't see anybody in on the Redeem Team that would have been able to do anything with him just off of physicality. You had Barkley, you had Ewing. The bigs on the Dream Team are really good. That's what I'm trying to say. The bigs on the Dream Team were really good. So when you look just across the board, matchup wise, guard for guard, wing for wing, it's a toss up on both ends if you ask me. You got Jordan, Bird, Pippen. I think that they're just as good as LeBron, Kobe, and Melo. But when you get to that center play, it's just not much of a comparison to me. Like I think that the centers would carry them and blow that game out of the water.
You have to change my opinion on this. I don't think that the Redeem team will be able to hang with the Dream team mainly because of the big play. The only top tier big they had on this team, in my opinion, was Dwight Howard in his prime. Um,
He's not
but
he's
yeah,
not messing with them.
LeBron wasn't the Heat LeBron that we would see yet. This was still a young LeBron, Cavs LeBron that he. A lot of people point the finger at this team actually to when he turned the table to be one of the greatest of all time when he had this experience with the team. But yeah, no, I don't think this roster will be able to beat the Dream Team roster. However, when I do, who do you think will win between the 2012 team and the Dream Team? I'm gonna read you off their roster real quick. Let me find it real quick. Roster.
I mean, you can read it. I think I got a good idea. I think I got a good idea. I remember that. That was Kyrie year, wasn't it? Kyrie James was on there. Was that is that the year you're talking about? Kyrie, James Harden. That was their first year on there.
It was LeBron, Carmelo, Kobe Bryant, Chris Paul, Darren Williams, KD. KD wasn't on the Redeem team.
He wasn't.
Russell Westbrook, Kevin Love, Iguodala, James Harden, not nowhere close to the prime James Harden, but still James Harden, Tyson Chandler, and Anthony Davis.
No, that's a good team. See, now this is what I'll say. The 2012 Olympic team, that team is better. Matter of fact, that team is better than the Redeem team on paper, even probably in play too. But I still don't think they're better than the Dream Team. Like it comes down to bigs with that one too. Tyson Chandler, is Tyson Chandler checking Ewing or David Robinson?
No, and Tyson Chandler, by the way, I do remember he was the starting center on the team.
Yeah. So
But when you, in my opinion, when you have a roster, any roster ever, where you can throw LeBron, Kobe, and Kevin Durant on the floor at the same time,
no, that's dangerous. No, you're right because those are three of the best scorers to ever touch basketball, and you also have Melo on that roster. So
exactly.
you
And
got a lot of
Melo,
guys who can get a bucket, but when it comes down to doing the dirty work there, who's gonna do the dirty work on their team?
Russell Westbrook was in Russell Westbrook off the bench, and you could say maybe it's prime. That's nasty. And what win this game for me is the depth because
They
once you
might be
get past that
deeper.
best five,
They might be
once you
deeper.
get past that best five, there's no holes in this team. Like Andre Iguodala was a top tier player in the league at this time still, and I feel like he might be the worst player on the team.
They're
Uh,
deeper. I give them that. They're deeper
yeah,
because
and
Chris Mullins off the bench
it's
and John Stockton off the bench, and then they had Christian Laettner on that team. Was Christian Laettner on that
yeah,
team? Yep.
yes,
So
Christian. Yeah.
their bench depth was a lot better. But first five coming at you, you got Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Charles Barkley, and then Ewing. That first five is crazy.
That five or LeBron, Kobe, and KD, and then you can pick between Chris Paul and D Wade at your one, and then Tyson Chandler's gonna be the five, or you could just go small ball, and would they be able to keep up with KD if you throw him at the five and put Carmelo at the four?
Five for five. I'm trying to think. That's a tough five versus five. Just
That,
because
that,
Kevin Durant, LeBron James, and Kobe on the court at the same time is insane.
I would throw. This isn't prime D Wade, so I would throw my five would be Chris. I would go small ball. I would have Chris Paul. Uh, Kanye West is the best friend, by the way. Chris Paul at the one. Uh, Kobe at the two. LeBron at the three. Carmelo with the Knicks at the four, and KD at the five.
If you're going with that five, bad news for you. We're beating that five with the Dream Team five because that's not gonna work. Kevin Durant is gonna get put in the rim.
You think the Admiral can keep up with pick and pop with
Oh
KD?
no. On KD's working, he's working out whoever is guarding him, but it's the same way. They gonna go bucket for bucket because the Admiral's gonna put his back to the basket and put KD in the rim.
We're messing around today, and I'm gonna just go ahead and throw out the fact that I know for a fact that Rob would be pissed off right now if you heard us even comparing anybody on the court to MJ. He would say MJ would already have 50. There's no way that nobody can keep up with MJ on the court. But in my opinion, I still think that my five is winning if it's just those five on the floor, and this team is a lot deeper too, and I feel like they win a 7 game series against the Dream Team, and I don't even think we'll go to seven if the 2012 team is out there. Was it? Steph wasn't even close to being on the team, I don't think, but he was at the tryout, I believe.
Yeah, this is the one.
But
Kyrie was at the tryout. He didn't make the team. That's what I
yeah,
was getting
oh
at
yeah,
from.
yeah, yeah.
That's when he had that clip where he
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh, and I know what clip you talk about when he was just going down the whole floor, going crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's one of the best basketball clips of all time. Speaking of
yeah.
that raised the question I had. I really should wait till Rob gets here because it's a good one for I want Rob to get in on it too.
Hold on, one second. Uh, I gotta do something for my brother.
Yeah, that Kyrie clip is crazy.
All right.
No, I was saying I got a question that made me think of a question that I had, and I really want to save it for when Rob gets here because it's a good one, and I want to know what Rob's opinion is. But at the same time, I think we should just go ahead and say it. Rob missed out.
Yeah, I mean, we can spin back on next week if
Right. So speaking of that clip, we thinking of that clip that goes crazy. I was sitting and I was watching some throwback hoop mixtapes, and that made me want to question what is the best hoop mixtape of all time? Or it doesn't even have to be a hoop mixtape. What's the best basketball mixtape of all time?
Okay, there's two that instantly come to mind, and these are my top two. Like instantly, John Wall for one.
It's a great one.
John Walls is crazy, and that Austin Rivers.
Oh, that's what I was
Austin
gonna say was Austin Rivers.
Austin Rivers looked like he was about to be one of the greatest
Dude,
players of all time in his mixtape.
I
That's
s-
hey. I used to watch Austin Rivers mixtape when I was a young kid before I had the game. I used to throw that on before I had the game, before I would get in the car.
I swear to
I had
God,
the arm sleeve that he would be wearing too.
the arm sleeve, bruh. Listen,
Rivers set the goals for me.
Austin Rivers' high school mixtape was so amazing that after I seen it, I went and I showed my dad and I told him I was like, dude, he's about to be the next best player to ever grace basketball. His mixtape was so crazy.
Yeah, like that was crazy.
But mine, he said John Wall in high school. No, John Wall's high school mixtape is insane. That's definitely one of the best ones. But when I think of high school mixtapes, the one that easily comes to my head because I mean, it was amazing the things he was out there doing was Akil Carr. Akil Carr hoop mixtape is top 5. Like when you hear that intro music and you just heard my name Akil Carr, this my hoop mixtape.
Yeah.
You knew that it's a show.
Some ones you can immediately come to mind.
Zion had a great high school mixtape.
Zion was putting people on crazy posters.
Jalen Hands. I remember Jalen Hands mixtape was crazy. Trayvon Duval.
Oh, Trayvon.
Trayvon Duval's hoop mixtape was insane. That's definitely in the top 5 hoop mixtape. It can't be my number 1, but that's top 5. Trayvon Duval's, oh my, he was punching on everybody.
Everyone. Oh my god. And that handle. Oh.
Trying to think. Major throwback. I don't know if you remember this one. What is his name? Marcus Lovett. Marcus Lovett.
I ain't heard about that one.
He had a crazy one. I think. Hold on. I gotta make sure that's his name because I might be saying it wrong. I might have the wrong name. I think it was Marcus Lovett though. Marcus Lovett's hoop mixtape was Kyrie. That was another one. Kyrie Irving.
Lonzo, just alone off the opening clip, dropping somebody and helping them up. That for one, just that was crazy.
Yeah, Marcus Lovett. You don't remember Marcus Lovett, dude? Oh my god!
I've probably seen it, but if I seen his face, I'll probably remember.
Hold on, I want to share my screen so bad right now.
Those were some of the here. Matter of fact, yeah, no, it's not. But
are you watching the stream like on your phone?
I gotta put up my
just look on the stream real quick. This is what I'm talking about.
It's a little delayed, but yeah. So who was I about to bring up? Markel Fultz looked cold too.
His definitely was. You telling me you never seen this Marcus Lovett hoop mixtape?
Oh, it's still waiting.
Oh, it's still delayed?
Yeah. Well, it'll be less than delayed. Yeah.
Definitely one of the craziest hoop mixtapes I've ever seen before. Kid was saucy. He had it all. He had a bag, punching on guys. Oh, that makes me think though. What is his name? He had a.
I know exactly what you're talking about. This is below the point.
That's a.
Oh my god.
Hold on, I got another name for you though. See if you remember this one. 7th Woods.
Woods is so crazy. Oh my god.
He has the best.
That's when I saw Pop. I was like, hey, this kid right here.
He has the best freshman mixtape ever. There's never been a freshman as good as him.
LaMelo too.
Yup, LaMelo. Yeah. A lot of crazy ones. Like those mixtape Hoop mixtape days. First of all, the 2012 when Hoop mixtape was just the only platform that was dropping videos
Yeah.
was a different era of basketball because they'd be gone for like 2 months, don't post nothing, and then they just dropped the craziest kid who just five of his basketball games. They only filmed 5 games. And those 5 games, it seemed like he made the most amazing basketball plays ever, bro.
De'Aaron Fox was out there looking cold too.
Yeah, Kentucky. A lot of Kentucky boys had great mixtapes. Cause remember the Harrison twins?
Yeah. Do you have any favorite basketball teams alone, like high school basketball teams that you used to watch and go
Oh
crazy?
my gosh, that's a great question. My favorite basketball team of all time is it 2018? I think it's 2018. Shadow Mountain. You know Shadow
Who's on
Mountain?
that team? Who's on that team? Was
Uh,
there no
they had Jalen House.
somebody said Trey Jefferson and
Oh yeah,
Thomas too. I was,
5'7" Trey Jefferson was heat.
yeah. Oh.
But Shadow Mountain, they had Jalen House, uh Blackshear, I can't remember
Yeah,
his first name, and then
yeah,
Deontay Combs was there as a freshman.
yeah,
But they had the crazy
yeah. I mean,
defense. They was getting all those
yes,
steals.
yeah. Yeah, and but my favorite, I used to get in trouble. I was in class watching Chino Hills games, just like in
Everybody,
middle
bro.
school.
Chino Hills, the year with all three of the Ball brothers.
Yes, like in class, I was like, I was waiting on the games to drop, bro, because I would know they had a game. I would wait on the game to drop the next day, and I would watch one clip, and then I would watch one video, and then I would watch the next video that I would post from another, like say balls like to post one, and I would watch another video to see if they missed any clips. Like that's how like much I was obsessed with them Ball brothers. Like
Yeah,
they
bro.
was
Ball
like,
brothers was insane in high school. Like, especially Lonzo's senior year campaign is one of the best senior years. Like, they didn't lose a game, went on the national schedule, tore everybody up.
in the public school.
It's a
I
public
think
school.
that's the first national. That's the first public school to win the national championship in like 8 years.
Yeah,
First public school is a bit even better thing.
I'm trying to
I,
think if I have any other teams though. Uh, I like
I
the
really,
IMG the year that Noah Farrakhan was there. I'm trying to
yeah.
think who
I
else was
had
on that roster.
Mount Verde when they had literally everybody. That Kay Cunningham year.
It was a good
But
year.
the thing about that team, they had like hella people as sophomores and juniors too. Like I believe even Derek Whitehead was still on that team at that point. I believe like as a sophomore or freshman or something. But yeah, no, Mount Vernon has some cold teams in the day.
Yeah, Montverde and IMG have had a lot of guys come through there. They're like what
Man,
Oak Hill was in the early 2000s. Oak Hill really fell off. But shout out to my guy Caden Magwood up there at Oak Hill though.
even last year I like watching Duncanville. That's when they first put me on to Anthony
Ooh.
Black.
Yeah, that was a good team. Sharif Cooper 2018 when they had Sharif and Isaac Okoro. Great
Shout out
team.
Vincent.
Great team.
Did you ever know? Did you ever know about that clip?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Hey man, I wish he was watching right now. Big Benson.
I'm gonna text him. I'm literally about to text him right now and just say Tariq Cooper. I haven't know. But was that the last topic you want to bring up?
Yeah, that was the last topic I had. You have any more?
Yeah. Did you want to close it off for us today?
Yeah, I'll close it out for us today. Appreciate everybody who came through and watched the stream. We had a lot of viewers in the chat. I seen y'all. Thanks for stopping by. We missed Rob on this episode. Rob will be back next week. I do want to make a special announcement on the podcast. Not gonna officially say too much yet, but just know we got a lot of things coming. A new segment we're looking to start up very soon, featuring some high school players themselves. So stay tuned for that. Hoodie Rio and Cameron in 2018. I think that was tough. You talking about that Vashon team out of St. Louis? That was a tough team. I love that team. But appreciate everybody for stopping by. We'll catch y'all next week, man. Make sure y'all follow us on all socials at Over and Back with dots in between the over and. So appreciate all y'all, and we'll see y'all next week, man.
Thank y'all.